YouTube? This is Devin coming back at you with another video today on PubStomp MTG. Glad to have you here. Today we're going to be looking at Marneus Calgar. Since I'm not familiar with Warhammer, I've been mispronouncing all these names, so this is probably adding to the list of the amount of mispronounced names I've been having with Warhammer. But this is a pretty awesome card in my opinion. Probably the best commander from the set, in my opinion. What does it read? It has double strike and has Master Tactician. Whenever one or more tokens enter the battlefield under your control, draw a card. And then it has Chapter Master, pay 6 mana, create 2 2/2 White Astartes Warriors creature tokens with Vigilance. So yeah, this is a pretty straightforward commander. It has the ability to make tokens, which will draw you cards. So this has a lot of really great things going for it. So let's talk about cards that are great from the pre-con before we get into some of the cards that you want to add into the deck. The card I like most from the pre-con deck is Inquisitor Elsorn. It has, you may reveal the first card you draw each turn if you draw it. Whenever you reveal an instant or sorcery card this way, create a black 4/4 demon with flying. I can't pronounce the name. And also it does read, whenever it deals damage to a player, investigate that many times. So you'll be able to get a lot of card draw out of this option. The other cards I really wanted to highlight in this deck is the squad cards. For example, we have Arco Flagellant and Ultramarines Honor Guard. The reason why I do have them on here is because when they enter the battlefield as an additional cost to cast a spell, you may pay 2 mana any number of times. When this creature enters the battlefield, create that many tokens that are copies of. So for example, with Arco Flagellant, it has pay 3 life, it gains indestructible until end of turn, and Ultramarines is an anthem for all your creatures. So looking at the anthem ability of Ultramarines, if you make a token copy of them, you're just going to make other creatures you control get +1/+1, which could get really big, and honestly, that's really awesome with this ability. Also, last one, it's not really a token generator, but I thought I would include it in this list because it is fantastic for protecting your commander. We have Vexilius Prater. It has flash and vigilance, and commanders you control have protection from everything. So this is going to be a really awesome card in the deck because your commander is definitely going to be a target for a lot of people because he's honestly a combo machine in my opinion, so adding any form of protection is great for him. So with that, I just really wanted to touch on some of the pre-con cards from the commander deck. I think they're really great into the deck for this commander specifically, but what are some cards we want to add into the deck? I do really like cards like God Eternal Oketra because you're going to be running a good amount of creatures in this deck, so whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 4/4 black zombie warrior creature token with Vigilance. I think that's really great right there. We do also have Talrand, Sky Summoner, and Murmuring Mystic. If you cast instant or sorcery spells, you're going to make a 2/2 blue Drake, or you're going to make a 1/1 bird illusion creature token with flying. So I like those two options as well. Another really great option in my opinion is Keeper of the Chord. It's pretty criminally underplayed as it has a lot of really great abilities. At the beginning of each opponent's end step, if that player controls more creatures than you, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. And at the beginning of each opponent's end step, if that player controls more lands than you may search your libraries for a basic plains card and then put it onto the battlefield tap. So this is a really fantastic card to keep you up with some people with having mass armies of tokens or creatures, or on top of that if they have a lot of lands. So this is really great in my opinion in any deck that's white. Another card I really like having in my decks that's pretty consistent with doing its thing is Chasm Skulker. It has, whenever you draw a card, put a 1/1 counter on Chasm Skulker, and then when he dies, put 1/1 X blue squid creature tokens with Island Walk, where X is the number of 1/1 counters on it. So with this deck, you're definitely going to be drawing a lot of cards with your commander. Last creature token I want to talk about is Legion's Landing. For 1 white mana, you're going to be making a 1/1 white vampire creature token, and on top of that, you're going to be drawing a card because you're a commander, and also it is a great card draw option because you're going to be making those 1/1 white creature tokens on the back consistently, so great option right there. Now, because we're making tokens, we want to make sure we benefit off the tokens by having cards like Curiosity Crafter and Junk Winder. I really like these cards in the deck, and I think they're fantastic in the deck because whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, and whenever a token enters the battlefield under your control, tap target non-land permanent and opponent controls. It does not untap during its controller's next untap step. So these will definitely synergize with your token generators so that you could get those extra abilities on top of that. There are also some interesting spells you could add into the deck as well. We have Protect the Negotiators and Mystic Reflect. I like these two in this deck for many reasons. For example, Protect the Negotiators will make a token if you kick it, and it'll counter target spell unless controller pays 1 for each creature you control. So we're going to have a lot of tokens on the battlefield, and your opponents will basically not be able to pay for that unless they have a lot of mana. So really great option option here. Also, I really love Mystic Reflection. Very underrated in my opinion. Choose target non-legendary creature. The next time one or more creatures or planeswalkers enter the battlefield this turn, they enter as copies of that chosen creature instead. And it also has Sortel. The reason why I love this card so much is because it could either count as offense or defense for you. When you make tokens, you make the biggest creature on the battlefield. And for defense, you could use this. Say for example, somebody is casting their Elesh Norn. Instead, they make a 2/2 white Astartes creature token that your commander has the ability to make. So this is really great in the deck. I love this card so much. It's very underutilized. So now going along with the token theme, we're also going to go ahead and talk about token doublers. There's actually 2 token doublers. Everyone knows Anointed Procession, but not a lot of people do remember Kaya Geist Hunter. I feel like they're making planeswalkers all the time. I think there was like 3 or 4 planeswalkers that are Kaya over the years, so it's hard to remember them all, but I do think of this one when it comes to tokens because creatures you control gain Death Touch until end of turn, put 1/1 counter up to 1 target creature token you control. But we want to really focus on that -2 ability where until end of turn, if 1 or more tokens would be created under your control, but twice that many of those tokens on the battlefield instead. So this is really great in the deck. I like this a lot because it counts as an Anointed Procession. Only for one time though, unfortunately, but this is really great overall. Aside from doubling our tokens, we have a really awesome card in the deck to include. That is Divine Visitation. With your commander making 2/2s, this will strictly upgrade them by making 4/4 white vigilant and flying creature tokens. So this is definitely a great pickup, and especially because it did get reprinted, it'll be cheaper now, so it's definitely great to include in the deck. Plus, this could be a really great game ender because you're going to be making so many different kinds of tokens that Divine Visitation will make them into 4/4 white angel creature tokens instead, so they'll fly in the air and win for the game that way. But talking about winning the game, we do have a really great combo in the deck. We do have Basalt, Monolith, and Rings of Bright Hearth. This is a pretty easy combo and pretty familiar for a lot of people. So with these 2 cards, you're essentially going to be gaining infinite colorless mana and now that we have infinite mana, it's easy to dump it into our commander because it has pay 6 mana, create 2/2 white Astartes Warrior creature tokens with vigilance. So there's a couple ways we could win with this. We could use Corpse Knight whenever our creature tokens will enter the battlefield. Each opponent will lose 1 life. Or we could use Psychosis Crawler whenever we're drawing cards with our commander. Each opponent will lose 1 life as well. So this is definitely just one way to close out the game with your commander. With this commander, I feel like there's a lot of different ways you could close out the game, in my opinion. So in wrapping up with this card, I think Marneus Calgar is a really insane commander in my opinion. I think there's a lot to do with him, even though he's pretty linear. Draw a card whenever a token enters the battlefield. I know it has an insane synergy with Smothering Tithe because it'll turn it into a Ristic Study on top of making a treasure. So great included in there, by the way, if you wanted to add it. But I think Marneus Calgar is an insane commander. Let me know what do you think down below in the comments. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. That's definitely the best way to support the channel. And with that out of the way, thank you for stomping